Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're now joined by Rachel Smith. Rachel, thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And you were a former University of Miami student, correct?
I am. Go Canes.
UMTV as well. You created the culture.
Correct. You've done some research.
Of course, I had to. Well, we got to prepare for a special guest. But yeah, it's really great to have you. You were broadcast journalism and sports administration. Correct. So was I, or so am I. I'm graduating in a month, so got to get that out of the way. But yeah, definitely love that. And you've been a content creator. You've shared across all the platforms. I don't even have to name them. All the platforms in sports, and you've really had a strong voice here the last couple of years.
Well, first, thank you. It's exactly what I wanted to do. I feel so lucky to be able to do that. I think that's like kind of rare that someone gets to do exactly what they love. So I feel really blessed by it.
I'm sure. I mean, content creation, you've been all around the board. You've been able to do so much, and it feels like you have that creative freedom, which everyone is looking for. What does that mean to you?
Creative freedom is everything. It's what differentiates you from everyone else in the sphere. And I think we live in such a digital age where you have to be able to put your spin on things because we're all reporting kind of on the same news a lot of the time. But your voice is how you tell your stories in a way that speaks to you and your audience. So that's important.
No, it's amazing what you've been able to do. And I saw you did something specifically on sports journalists and female sports journalists. Why do you think that was so important?
I think at the time that I started Girls of the Game, the show I started during the pandemic, it was because I was just graduating or about to graduate, and I was looking and really thinking about what I wanted to do. And I always grew up watching like the Pam Olivers, the Taylor Rooks, those types of women, and I was thinking about how cool it would be to have them share their story in a similar way we have athletes share their stories. So they were so welcoming me into the sports community, and through that I was able to interview them and form really incredible bonds with them that, I mean, I still talk to a lot of them like to this day. So they're incredible on TV and off.
That's cool. And like the more you look at it, the more sports and streaming and everything has grown, the bigger celebrities these people are becoming.
Yeah.
And you want to get an inside look into their lives. For you, and weren't you on like a college football segment a little bit earlier when Miami was in it?
Yeah.
Can you share about that, like a little bit, like kind of what was going on there?
Yeah, I did it with actually Christine Williamson. She played here volleyball for the University of Miami. She's now with ESPN College Game Day, and just to see where she's at now, and like how you said, as a woman in this industry, I think it's huge to see not only women in general, but a sister at that. Like, I love seeing that more on TV. And that day, I got a story done on me right before the national championship. As you know, my whole background with the University of Miami and how I've been taking care of these players since damn near 20 years now, making sure they look good before game day. And yeah, just to do that story with a woman impactful as Christine, I just see where this is going, and kudos to where you're at now in your career. I would love to see you on the big screen too one day. You know?
I appreciate it. That would be cool. I mean, I think it speaks to like how important and how real it is that once you see it, you can become it. And so it's even crazy like being here now, like speaking at a conference that I was attending as a student. It's just like it happens so fast.
And I see that a lot, especially with students here at the University of Miami. Mind you, the platform and the connections we have here, just seeing them go out into the real world and become those big entrepreneurs, like it's amazing.
No, and it happens so fast. Like, for example, my good friend, Ty Marion, he like even came today to speak with us. He was my freshman year roommate. Now he's speaking at the panelist because of all the stuff that he's already been able to accomplish. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. But, and like kind of staying on that topic, he's like, just goes out there, he just does it. And with you, you started your own show. I mean, you went out there, you said you wanted to accomplish something like that. And it's sometimes about just putting pen to paper. What's something that you told yourself back at Miami, having that kind of hunger mindset that stays with you now?
I think it's like nothing is that hard unless you make it that hard. I really think I'm like so delusional to think like I can truly do anything, like regardless of any type of like anything. I just think that like anything is possible, especially at a place like where there's so many resources. And then just going out and like whenever you see a break in the market, like a really specific audience that you can go after, create for that audience. I think that's always been something in wanting to see myself in a lot of like advertisements or demographics and being really spoken to. Like I try to do that in my content. That speaks to those types of people who are, especially in the sports world, aren't covered as much. And I think it's kind of an athlete mentality too of like, I'm gonna go out and do the impossible because it's not impossible in my hands, you know?
Yeah, certainly. And like when you have the resources there right away, like for example, me at Miami, tons of resources. I wanted to do broadcasting. I dove into everything right away, but over time I kind of let some of them slip. It's good to keep remembering that, you know.
Yeah, and that's happened. It's a human process, but if you keep your North Star like at a distance that's attainable, but you know, close, it makes it easier to keep going.
Yeah. And so what years exactly were you at Miami?
I graduated in 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
And so since you graduated, you've seen so much change in the sports world
Yeah.
in general. How have you taken things step by step and not tried to blow things out of proportion? Maybe there's certain aspects that are like, okay, this is the new norm, like this is how we have to attack things.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting time to be in the workforce because I was never there when it was like you have to go every single day, and for a lot of people but things shifted after COVID. So I haven't experienced the workforce in a way that it used to be. So for me, it's normal. To other people, it's not. But I think things shifted so quickly. I think the change into the importance of vertical content is really like vertical content that's Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. That's been probably the biggest changer. And I think when I was in school, I was kind of studying to do broadcast sports journalism, but there's so many ways you can get into the sports industry, whether that's like my first job was at the Dolphins, so that also helped me kind of form exactly what I wanted to do, and it's still becoming defined as like I move into different aspects. I'm like, oh, well, it's Olympic sports are really cool. It's not just football that I like. So I think as you kind of grow and spend time in the space, you'll figure out what you want to do more, and then just diving right into that.
Yeah, and that's what we saw so much today throughout the conference. Yeah. I think Special Olympics was here, a couple other ones that, you know, don't have a major presence. It's pretty cool to see just sports in general continuing to grow. And for you specifically, the human side of things, the human aspect of, you wanted to cover journalists, for example, that probably wouldn't have been done back in the day.
Yeah.
Even someone wanting to cover your story, for example. How has the human side of sports, behind the camera, behind the court, off the court, I should say, you know, why do you think that's just so important now?
I think that's something that people can forget, that these are people behind your favorite sports moments that wear the jerseys, that, you know, put the helmets on, that put whatever, suit up. Like, these are people at the end of the day, and this is their job. But it's a lot deeper than that for athletes because it's been ingrained, and a lot of them have been playing the sport since they were like 2-3 years old, especially as we kind of get into and I remember like student athlete was like such a big thing when I was in school, but now it's also really shown that these are athletes from the second they step on a college campus and are being paid as such, and I think with that comes a lot of respect as well. But I think the human element of sports, we can't forget about that because that's at the core of every single piece of storytelling. And it creates fandom. So like I'm an Eagles fan because my dad's from Philly, and the second I was born, that was like my second outfit. Go Birds!
You got two Birds fans right there.
Amazing. So. But like I will be a lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan, and that's because of a personal connection. But I think there's always the humans, the people that make sports worth watching because you learn to root for them. I think Olympic storytelling does a great job with that. UFC does a great job with storytelling because you decide right before a fight who you're going to root for. And I think that's like the through line throughout all the sports is you can become a fan of everything or anything if you know who that person is behind the jersey.
100,000%, and it's becoming more and more important who's behind the jersey, and it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that because maybe kids are talking to you more about social media now than they used to, or that it's more important to them.
Yeah, and just to touch on finding, someone that could do their content for them, just to keep their mind focused on being on the field or on the court. It's super beneficial for them to have someone there following their day-to-day activities. So I mean, now it's huge. It's like the norm. You have to have someone there shooting for you. So.
And I think it's good for athletes because it also sets them up outside of the sport. And I think that's like the part with so many, especially things like football, where you don't ever see their face. It's very hard to be marketable when you don't have like that human factor. So I think like with setting up who they are, it's almost like you're creating like this athlete influencer area.
Correct.
And I think they're really good at selling things, right? Like you would buy Old Spice probably more if you know, you know, someone in the NFL wears it. So I think they do a great job in that.
What areas of social media and content creation would you bet on right now to just continue to have a big presence?
I think anything in the, I think podcasts are still like a really good place.
You don't think podcasts watered down though?
It is, right? But I think all athletes are going to become their own platform. So anywhere you can have, you can create so much from podcasts, and that's what I'm getting at. You can have 2 hours worth of filming and cut down your most interesting 30 seconds across, 20 to 30 different videos. So volume. And I think for an athlete that doesn't have as much time to film everything every day, that might be a good spot to get all the content out. But I think it's like an interesting space because there are so many, but I always think the best of anything rise to the top. So if you can be a part of that smaller sum.
Yeah. What do you think about like when it comes to that filming podcast? But there's some podcasts where I can't sit there and watch it because it's like, what am I? But when they post the little reels, like,
Yeah.
But I feel like that's why the podcast works, is because like either way it's going to take that much time, and so you might as well post it and then you can just do the clips anyway, right?
Right. And that's too. I think the other thing is any in-depth storytelling, like in a documentary form. Like I made a documentary about the WNBA player. Her name is Kristen Williams. She plays for the Dallas Wings. In it, Coach Gino is in it, Paige is in it. But I think that's such a marketable piece of content that you could sell to an ESPN, to a Together, whatever the case is. And I think more athletes are going to do that, especially the ones with interesting stories. And that's going to be something where they get to own their own narrative. And I think that's going to be kind of the next wave of content as well.
How have you been able to manage? I feel like a lot of the things you've worked on is probably team-oriented, putting together projects like that. How important has that been? I'm sure you have a team mindset, like working with people.
Yeah.
How's that played a factor in your journey?
It's hard to find a good team. It is really hard to find a good team that is, I think in a very like sports way, like it's hard to find a good team that can win a championship. And when you're doing content, that's what it is. So it's like, how can you build a championship team? Like how can I find the best videographers, the best journalists, the best people with the inside scoop, the best athletes? Because that's also, even though they would be a client, that's also a part of the team. Like you can't have like a bad member of your team and then you won't win. So I think having the mindset is really a sports one, where it's like, how can we put on the best performance on the field? How can we have the data to back up what we're doing? And also like, how can we have fun? Because at the end of the day, like it's not like saving lives, but it does make people feel something in a world, I think, where we need positivity and we need opportunities to do that. So when you have a good team, and I've been able to like garner a really good team now, I definitely try to keep everybody close.
Yeah, and do you feel like you have to have a strong voice within a team in order for it to be good, right?
Yeah, and I think what people really want to is vision, direction, and then their piece that they get to play in that. Because otherwise, you need everyone to be bought in on what you're trying to do. So I think a really clear vision and ways that everyone's expertise comes to the table to play a really critical part in that overarching mission is where you could win that way.
For you, what would you say, and you had some good internships, and that certainly helped you, but really breaking in, really finding your voice, finding out what you want to do. So many students here have good experience, but still figuring it out. What's your advice for that?
Internships is definitely where I started to, they're so important. I think take as many as you can. When I was here, I interned at the Dolphins, the Super Bowl host committee, Bleacher Report, ESPN, Madison Square Garden. Like, I was taking anything, and it wasn't necessarily.
You were getting everything. Don't say you were taking anything. You were getting it all.
I was having so much fun,
Yeah.
and I was saying yes to any department. Like, some weren't even in like marketing or anything that I really wanted to do, but I was like, any opportunity to touch base with the people in that building is going to be beneficial, and it's definitely proven that that's the case, because I can still call on people I have from any of those experiences, and now they're doing such incredible things. Like Monica McNutt, I met her at my internship at MSG, and now she's covering like all of basketball on
That's
ESPN,
awesome.
which is crazy. So
Yeah, seeing where everyone ends up at the end. That's what I've been saying about all these Miami kids, because the program's taken off. There's not a lot of people in it. Like, we're going to see these people in some crazy spots in a couple years.
For
That's
sure.
what I think. But how's the chair been treating you? We've been
It's
asking.
been great. It's lovely. I've never sat in a Barber
Yeah.
chair,
Uh-huh.
so this is interesting.
Yeah, hair salons, they have different chairs
Yeah.
compared to actual barber.
You guys have
chair.
it nice. Look at it. It's very spacious and cushiony.
Okay, good. We're glad you like it. We've ended every interview the same. Do you have a biggest what if in Hurricanes history? It can be with sports. It can be anything in sports. We've been asking everyone. Maybe it's personal. Maybe you didn't do great on a test or
Nobody ain't do
something.
this what if yet. They ain't asked us one what if question, because if you would have asked me, I got a what if, but I'm gonna wait. Go ahead.
I should have asked you
I'm
earlier. I don't know which guest should we say it for. Maybe you want to say it now. What's your biggest what if?
No, I'm gonna let her go.
I actually played intramural rugby here at UM,
What?
and I got scared because I saw somebody's tooth get knocked out, and I didn't finish the season. So I wonder what if I would.
What if she stuck down the rugby route?
Then I could have,
Man, they done traumatized my girl. She said, nah,
oh,
well, this
no, I
ain't
said,
for me.
What is going on here?
You would have
Yeah.
been on Bleacher Report for your highlights,
You
not
know what
for.
I mean? I was really something on
Yeah.
on the field, but
Come on now.
now we'll never know.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for now. Rachel Smith, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much,
We
Rachel.
appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you.